Hello everybody, Stella back again. And for those of you who don't know, because I know I've got a few new subscribers, my name is Stella Swan. I'm a fully qualified clinical therapist. I've actually got a degree and a master's of counselling practice. I've been in the field for 28 years. I've been in private practice for the last 13, 15, 14, time flies. And I just wanted to share my qualifications with you because a lot of people don't know. I mean, I could be anyone sitting here. But not only have I worked with, in fact, I've done over 10,000 hours of client hours in that time. More than that. I actually stopped counting a few years ago. And I've obviously done my own work. I've been in a journey of recovery again for the last 30 years. I've gone to my own dark places. I've gone to my own demons. I've embraced them. And learnt to master them. I'm an expert in me. And I suppose I realised that as I became more aware of me, what drove me, the different parts of me, the parts I liked, the parts I hated and repressed and denied, I actually learned to take responsibility and embrace them in a way that I had never been shown. I'd never been told. I'd never been demonstrated. There were no role models doing that. And so I kind of learnt the hard way through trial and error. And I suppose that my wanting, my desire is to help people not have to take years and years and years to do what I did, but actually, I've created shortcuts because of what I've learned, because of all the theories that I've studied. And I think I've got together a bit of a program to help you rewire the programming that you got early on. Rewire the way you relate to your emotional self, and be in a much better place within you. Because really, I realised that to create a safe space within you is the key. It's the key to feeling your feelings and feeling empowered and feeling safe and feeling confident and knowing that you're enough. And not just knowing that in your head, but feeling it in your heart. A lot of people rationally know they're enough and, what they're doing is okay, but they don't feel okay. They don't feel like they're doing enough. And so there's this disconnect between the head and the heart. And I suppose I want to help you come into attunement, alignment. And that's about you learning to parent that part of you in a way that probably or perhaps didn't get parented back in those first 7 years. So this is an experience of learning to reparent you. And that takes time and energy, but actually not too much time. I don't want people spending years and years doing this. You don't have to. But what you do have to be is ready to do that. So if this resonates with you, if this is something you would like to learn to do better, if this is something that you are wanting, and the trouble is with human beings, sometimes we have to be in a lot of pain before we look up, and I know I did, before I look up and think someone else, might know better, and that was my issue. A lot of people, we're all different. I was very stubborn and arrogant. I thought I knew it all. And of course I had to learn. I didn't. And I was full of pride. And it stopped me from thinking I could learn anything from anybody. But I learned the hard way and the long way. And I've got all this practice, all this understanding, all this knowledge, all this wisdom because of not only what I've been through and what I've recovered from, but the thousands of hours I've spent with people, helping them and realising we're all unique and different, but there's this theme that runs through all of us, and it's I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. And I think that stems from that primal conditioning we get in those first 7 years, and I suppose that's what I want to help people with. Now, if you want some of that, then come along, listen, ask questions, help me to help you, because I want to help you. You know, I actually really care about us as humanity, as people, and I care about people being well and living life on their terms, knowing what they want, knowing what they need, um, realizing they can feel empowered, they can feel confident, teaching people to change the way they think about themselves, because my tagline is don't change, heal. And people keep doing these things outside of them thinking it's going to change the inside of them. This is not how it works. You change the inside and the outside will come into alignment with those changes, and you will just naturally change, not by having to force yourself in some shape or form. You will know thyself. And I think that's the biggest key. That's the biggest thing you can do for yourself. So, yeah, I'm an expert in my field, and I think I'm worthy of that. I've spent a lot of hours studying, training, helping people, and working on myself. And I'm giving it away for free. I feel like right now this is what I'm being led to do, and I want to help everybody, and that includes you if you've clicked onto this. And so just watch some of the videos, see what you think, see what you feel. Some people are not going to like me. I'm going to trigger them, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. They're not going to like me, and maybe they might not want to watch me, and that's okay. But for me, I would challenge you. If you don't like me, if you are triggered by what I'm saying, then go into that part of you that feels uncomfortable or angry or frustrated, and acknowledge that part of you. See, every trigger is a moment where you can transform, because that's your trigger. I mean, I might be out here, I'm the mirror that you're looking at that's helping that emotion come up, but that's your emotion. Stop giving me your power. Take back your power. I'm somebody you don't know, you don't even care about, and I'm triggering people. I think that's bizarre, but that's okay. I can't control you. I can't control anybody. The only thing I can control is this. I manage this. I don't control, well, if I can control this, sometimes this doesn't arc up as much. So I control this, I manage this, and I take care of the body. That's my job. That's me mastering this system. And that's what we have to learn to do. I feel so sad. You know, somebody wrote a comment, and it was actually really personal about me. She obviously didn't like me, and that's okay. You're allowed to not like me. You don't have to like me. It took me a long time to get to that point where I realised it's okay. I didn't have to like everyone. Excuse me. I'm just going to... I need a tissue. Oh, well. There you go. Let's grab a tissue. So, and if I'm triggering you, then go into the body. Feel the uncomfortability. What does this emotion remind you of? How big is it? Is it big? Is it, does it make you angry? So take back the power. Stop giving it to me. I'm incredulous the amount of people that kind of, and I haven't had too many, and some of them have been like, they've just been obviously not positive, but not really personal. This one was really personal, and I just found that fascinating, because I was able to sit in the process of what this felt like. And, I want to share that with you, what happened there, because initially I felt this sort of uncomfortable feeling here. It felt like anxiety. It was fairly big, and part of me wanted to push it away, because I'm reading the phone message, and a part of me wanted to push it away and put the phone down and move away from that comment. And it just so happened my daughter walked in, and I said, look, I've had a really negative comment, and I just allowed to breathe into it. I opened up around it. I was curious about it. Wow, what did this emotion remind me of? And I felt bad, because not because of what she said, because I felt like, oh no, I'm in trouble. I've upset someone. Someone is upset with me. And that triggered something, because when people were upset with me, then I got told off and I got into trouble, and that left me in a lot of pain. So I was just curious about what happened as I read that comment. And of course, all these feelings come up, and I just embraced them. I held them. I acknowledged them. I didn't actually say anything to them. I think I just held them. I've kind of moved on, so I can't. I'm just trying to remember. So when your body heals it, your brain will put it in long-term memory. That's why I'm struggling to really think about it. But I remember I had this big sensation because I remember I wanted to talk about it, because how do people deal with lots of very personal comments about them? Because that's the trouble when you put yourself out. I knew that was going to happen. I was going to put myself out here, and I was going to, and of course people are going to criticize, and I was ready for that. It took me a long time to get to the point where I felt like I could put myself out there, because I knew that, you know what, people are going to attack you. They're going to be spiteful and mean, and people are just jerks sometimes, and I was aware of that. And as I processed this emotion, and I just sat with it and I allowed it, I took responsibility for it, something shifted, because I realized it reminded me of when I was a little girl, and I got into trouble if someone was unhappy with me. So I realized it was that childlike part of me, and as I nurtured it and held it and made space for it and created a safe space, it kind of neutralized it through that heart. So you got to feel it to heal it, and it moved off. And then something else shifted, something else happened, because after a bit, and I think it was maybe, I don't know, I got on with the day, I wasn't always just sitting around thinking about it. But I actually, when I thought about that message and I read it again, I actually felt deep compassion for that person, because that person was probably me. I felt deeply compassionate that someone who she doesn't know, who she doesn't care about, who, she's never going to meet, not in her life, could get so upset about something I was saying. And I just thought, I felt very compassionate, because she's obviously hurting on some level. And I knew what it was like to be triggered so easily by somebody on YouTube who I didn't even know. And so I felt this deep compassion. And then my head went, actually, Stella, any attention's better than no attention. Which I thought was funny, because it's like, I've only got a very tiny little channel, and no one's, there's not many people watching. And I thought, wow, any attention's better than no attention. So this experience initially felt, I've hurt someone, I've upset someone. I'm a naughty girl, I'm a bad girl. As I held it and felt it and held it and healed it, it changed into compassion for this person who I felt was giving me her power, And because if little old me on the other end, and she's got the power to turn me off. It's not like she has to sit and watch me. But no, she sat there, and she didn't just write one comment. She wrote a paragraph. I just thought, wow, she kind of honoured me with her time and attention. It was quite funny. Anyway, that's the power of healing, because I thought, well, you know what, people aren't going to like what I say for whatever reason, and that's okay, you don't have to. But I really just wanted to share and do a bit of an update, because I don't know if a lot of people realise who I am, what I've done. I worked in a rehab for 10 years, so I worked with a lot of trauma clients. I would say that I specialise in trauma. And for me, it's all about, you cannot heal trauma without creating a safe space. So initially I would create a safe space between me and the client, but then I would help him, coach him, to create a safe space in him, so he can hold some of that pain, so he can give it a voice if that's what needs be. If he can, and I suppose I've said it, I realise I'm saying suppose a lot. I'm not going to say that again. To actually help him realise there's no rescuer coming. There's no one coming. No one outside of me is going to be able to rescue me. It's an inside job. I have to help people realise and help them be the rescuer of their own emotions, of their own lives, so they can come through for them. And that doesn't mean you don't need others. Of course we do. It's about the difference between codependency and ultra independency. And there's something in the middle called interdependency, and that's what I want to help people. Yes, of course we need people. I need people. I want people. I love people. I don't want to do this life completely on my own, because I don't have to. And at one time I thought I did, and I think that is a symptom of trauma. And if you've watched any of the videos, you know that I think we've all been traumatized. I think socialization on planet Earth is traumatizing, because the latest research suggests, and I keep up with the latest trauma research because they're learning new things all the time. Every time you felt scared and alone, it would have registered as trauma in your system. Trauma's not what happens to you. We have distressing situations, but trauma is what happens to us. And they're the small T's. So it's a bit like complex PTSD. And that's why. And you think you're not you look at people that are depressed right now. How many people do you know that are depressed, anxious, on medication, suicidal? Look at the amount of people that are taking themselves out. There is a huge problem, and it's because we've all got complex PTSD or complex trauma that we are so don't even realise, because those first 7 years, it doesn't matter how good your parents were, they could not come through you every time you felt scared and alone. So everyone, every single person on this planet, some more than others. Yeah, obviously there's a degree. But when you realise, you see, you've got to own it to change, to transform it. You can't change what you don't know. So it's about understanding yourself, understanding that what you went through as a very small child is still impacting on you. You know that feeling I got when I heard that negative comment? It resonated a wounded part of me. So it wasn't 10 out of 10. I mean, at one time it would have been. It was kind of like 4 or 5. I felt this feeling, and as I held it and embraced it and comforted it, it kind of revealed itself as I asked the question, what does this remind me of? Oh, I've upset someone. It's my job. I'm responsible for everyone's feelings outside of me. So, there's that part of me. But as I came into that sort of wounded part of me and said, it's okay, you're not responsible. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here. I think I do that subconsciously now. I think I'm so used to comforting myself, nurturing myself, administering to my own heart, that I just do it automatically. So, and it does become habit. You don't have to actually do it. In the beginning, it's like anything. You have to do it on purpose. But after a while, it just becomes more natural. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you today. Take of it what you will. I'm not the expert of you. I'm not here to tell you what to do, what to think, how to live your life, what to believe, what your value should or shouldn't be. That's not my job. That's your job. All I'm here is offering my services to help you heal the wounds. That's all. And so, thank you for listening. You take care, and I'll see you next time. Next time we're definitely talking about anger, rage and resentment. I've got some notes. I made some notes. I don't normally, but I have got some notes, so I will be sharing. I'm probably doing it in a few parts because that's a big topic and I want to spend some time on it. Anyway, thank you for your time today. You take care. Bye for now.